the brand Bengaluru. You have seen Church Street Road being done. I think
Yes,
I think
yes.
we just forgot to.
I have an
So Church
office. I
Street,
have an office
yeah,
there. Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
So you know how much I had to put so much of effort to get that done.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
really, I should thank KJ George. That time he was in charge of Bangalore City. He supported me to get that change from the concrete road to that what we have done,
Cobblestone.
cobble, yeah, stone,
Cobblestone.
and that
Hmm.
artwork, Mr. Our Naresh, architect.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Venkatraman and Associates, we all of them worked really hard and we did something really good there. And I can be very proudly say that it's one of the road in the whole of the country. Something like that has been done by government. Okay. Now we need to do many more like those kind of
Thank
streets.
you on behalf
And
of the citizens. Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
no, thank you. I mean also thank all of my citizens, my voters for giving me the opportunity to do all these things. No, those roads also can be done partially, only no vehicles allowed on some time, or partially only for walking. So these kind of things, not only in Church Street I'm talking, we can convert many other streets like that, where we can bring in I mean, see, you and me, we have traveled across the globe and we have seen in the heart of the city, you go to Italy, Paris, or you go to anywhere, you see people are sitting on the road and having a cup of coffee and tea. Can we imagine that in Bangalore? So,
We must.
means, yeah, no. I'm telling that kind of an atmosphere, that kind of a vibe has to be created. So, I think more
Hmm.
roads when are done like that, and we have population, we have business, we have everything with us. I think that would build, I mean, better infrastructure. And people are also in mood. See, some people who stay on the road, they have some difficulties, they have some problem. Maybe you have an office, but sometimes it is difficult for you if you will not allow a car to go. But how do we compromise on that? How do we help? Every coexistence is very important. So we have to plan, I mean, planners like you, and we can sit together and make good plans and make it happen. I think Bangalore is a place in the whole the globe which has more potential than what it is. It is we have only utilized 10% of Bangalore's potentiality. We can another 90% is still there to be touched, and Bangalore has a scope for it.
Excellent. We look forward to working together to realize that. But you're talking
Surely,
about
surely.
planning. You're talking about planning. And one of the challenges in Bangalore is the whole planning process, right? And if you look at the master plan, they took some years to come up with the next master plan, and now that seems to be shelved. And during that process, they don't even take in public input during the process, even though there's such a wonderful set of people with ideas. You talked about Church Street and the kind of ideas that Naresh and others gave, which has helped make it happen and come alive and make that vision a reality. So, there's the 2, 3 concerns that I have. One, many times governments have the wrong agency doing the planning, and then that gets challenged in court because that's not what is mandated by the constitutional framework. Simultaneously, there's no public input until after things are done. And then there's all kinds of other political economy that goes on. So, how do we change this attitude? And, can we do a citizen input planning at the MLA level or at the corporation level, and get more ideas into the system and into the planning process itself?
Rajiv, the whole process of this new CDB coming and then planning and all that itself is wrong. They only allow the public to file objections. They don't
Hmm.
take the opinion of public.
Yeah.
See, one is you need to involve the public when you want something to be done. We are not doing that. We are only making the public file an objection to what you have planned. And okay, who is the planner? He's not a town planner. He's just a planner because he's an IAS officer. He sits there and he does the planning. What is his background? Does he have background of a town planning, which is very important? Or you bring in some good planners, make a plan, put it to the public domain, take opinions from public. Maybe everybody may not accept whatever you have said, but then you will get an idea what is actually public are looking at. Why we are not doing that? See, many cases we have seen
Yeah.
government withdrawing things. government not doing things. Why? Because public is not involved. See, end of the day, who is to be benefited by whatever government does? It is the public. So we have to involve them, educate them, bring them in. See, in many countries in the world where we see a good area is where you have a very good school. The market value of that land near to a good school is much higher than market value near to a commercial area, because that
Mhm.
school provides good education to your children. Your investment is on your child. In our country, we look at a value of a property next to a commercial area more than a property next to a school. Am I right, Raju?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
the
that's
whole
perhaps.
the whole thinking itself has to change. We need to look at that kind of a thought level coming into our people, where we value what has to be valued. Then all this will start working. Even I'm telling you very seriously today, our RBI governor is, what is his background? He is not a finance person. So this is the kind of things the government does. When government does things like that, what is the kind of result you will get? GDP will go below 2%. Who is responsible for it? See, opposition government
I
is
agree.
not, I'm just giving an example. So planning comes also, you need to bring in expert who are good in town planning. Make a master plan for Bangalore city. You make a plan which will go for another 100 years. You take the whole stretch, make a master plan, put it, then you do development. See, every CDP comes, I am against this. They remove the green belt. How,
Yeah.
what are they planning when they keep removing the green belt and make it commercial or another development area? Then where will Bangalore be? Where will this weather of Bangalore stay? Then tell me, where will we go for oxygen?
No, no, exactly the point. This if the process was opened up and you took inputs from people, you would get sustainability as one of the central guidelines. And they'd say, look,
Yeah,
we want to make this a livable city, a walkable city, cyclable city, a bus-friendly, public transport-friendly city, and an environmentally friendly city. We used to be a city of lakes. We used to be the city, air-conditioned city of India, and we've come together
a garden
collectively and
city.
destroyed that. Yeah, garden city, all these things. And why was it garden city? Why was it the lake city? Because of Kempegowda, because of Tipu Sultan and Hyder Ali, because of Vishweshwaraya and Mirza Ismail, so many others
Yes.
over the centuries who
You
made
know,
that
who
happen.
did that
Hmm.
planning? Who did a planning? Who
Exactly,
had a
exactly.
vision?
Yeah, yeah. So now, so we may have to rethink about how what growth happens, what will happen around transport
I,
corridors. There's
I,
so much more
I,
that we can do. Yeah,
I would suggest, Rajiv, I think the government, whoever, see, it's a democracy. Somebody gets the government to form government, somebody sits in opposition. Doesn't matter. As long as people mandate is there, whoever sits there, let them make one master plan for Bangalore city now, which will go for another 50 years or 100 years. Then let us start working from there. Now, every 10 years, you are removing the green belt, you are giving for commercial. Now, you have almost reached one side to Andhra Pradesh and one side to Tamil Nadu. Then, where is now next place to go? Where you will remove the green belt now?
absolutely.
So, we
Myself.
have to actually very seriously take that.
Yeah,
We have to
that's
very
right.
seriously
That's
take it.
right.
Otherwise, the future generation is going to be affected by that. Where will the
Mhm,
greenery
mhm.
be then? Almost only towards Tumkur, Kunigal
Yeah,
only now we are left with going to Karnataka. On the other side, Hosur, we have almost touched Hosur here. This side, Chikballapur, now we are reaching Bagepalli and we will go to that Andhra border then. Where is the place left now? See, green belt,
correct.
already in green belt you can have education, hospitals, you have certain things which you can do, limit it to that. Why are they removing green belt and making it again commercial or residential place and making the place more traffic congestion?
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to tell is just not as a MLA, as a planner, we need to bring in people who are best in the world, get them, hire them, and make a super plan for the city. And the city will be, I mean, see, we have advantage in Bangalore, but we are not utilizing those advantages. What to do?
Okay. So one of the things that we'd like to be able to do is to share innovative ideas with you and hope that you will probably try and experiment. I'll tell you two, three of them. One of them
Yeah,
has to do with bicycle lanes, right? There might be, and
100.
you have so many students in your constituency that it would make sense to make it easier. I personally used to cycle everywhere as a child, and I grew up in your constituency, as a youth as well. And then the other thing is with the drains that exist in Bangalore, could they be greened? Could they become walking and cycling paths? There could be ways of regioning them. So some of those, and how do we things like that. Those are some of the concerns. Yeah.
No, 100%, Rajiv. We can do all these things. It's not a big job. See, cycling track. I personally myself cycle at least 3-4 days in a week. Maybe not going to Vidhan Soda, but at least I keep cycling and going around in my constituency in the early mornings. And cycling is good
Excellent.
for overall. It is good for anyways. So cycling track should be made must. We should bring in KMTC Act of BBMP that every road should have a cycling track. Then what will happen? It will support everybody to cycle around. You keep a cycle parking
Right.
area and a track for cycling. Majority of the people, it's a good exercise. You don't have to do any exercise after that. You can cycle 15-20 kilometers every day and you're done for it. You have reached your working place, you have done your exercise and you're fit. See, don't you think we need to
Absolutely.
think like that? Don't you think we need to think like that?
Absolutely.
We have to now. It's time.
Yeah.
I mean, what are we giving message to the next generation? And drains, see now
Yeah, but the basic.
drains, you were talking to me. 12th year I have completed as MLA of Shantinagar. I mean, thanks to the Almighty and thanks to my people. You used to see whenever it rains, Shantinagar, rain, water here, there. By God's grace, now I have cleared that all the stormwater drains have been done. The stormwater, the rainwater flows out and it goes beyond. Now, small drains and other thing, as you rightly said, could be because if you take up the footpath, then quite naturally these drains will be done and that footpath and the drain could be done together so that we have a good drains and footpaths. Again, that will benefit the public. So some planning like that has to happen. Now BBMP has done some package only for footpath because of metro. Because metro came, they did develop some of the footpaths. The MG Road footpath was developed because of metro coming and metro railway station on MG Road. So there are some good ideas and things coming. But what is happening is suddenly somebody removes that and he does some other work. So the planning should not stop. This is where we lack. A system has to be made.
Okay, so one question for you, about congestion. One of the ways of keeping congestion down, Singapore takes it to an extreme. Basically, is about parking charges, right? And basically, we used to have parking charges in Bangalore, and now that's gone. And everywhere it's free parking, so nobody has an incentive to think twice about private transportation. How do we fix this? What's the problem? Yeah, I heard there were rackets in all this and all that.
See, parking also is become a big mafia kind of a thing. In Brigade Road, the association is doing that parking in a very good way, and the revenue, BBMP is getting good revenue out of it. That is an electrical parking, and per hour they charge. You can't just park your car there and go. So every hour you are charged for it. And see, two things. This is interconnected. One is public transport. You have a good public transport, then you don't have a big problem with parking. People will use the public transport. Next, parking is required because we need to give. I think there is a tender which is being blocked, and BBMP has put almost some 200 areas or something, a very big tender. I think one company, a big company, has taken it. They are supposed to do it. Maybe if that comes, they will give where parking is available in the city, that message and information will be passed on to the public so that they can have a advance this one and they can go and park it there. And they should make parking compulsory per hour charges. Then what happens? You will minimize your parking. Otherwise, in Brigade Road, if it was not 1 hour charge, that shopkeeper only will come and park his car there in front of his shop. And then he will not allow anybody else to park there. You get the point. So when it is charged, then what happens? He comes in a public transport. He comes in a public transport. So that helps. And this has to be connected, Rajiv. I think the ideas has to be interlinked, connected. Then this will bring in good result.
Excellent. Now, one other question about
Yeah.
you active a set of corporators and ward committees and things like that. How much of a role can they play in making sure that the road infrastructure, the footpath infrastructure, the street lights, so that it becomes safe and in multiple dimensions? Is there an active role that they can play in making sure everything's functioning well?
See
The
now
ward
in
committees and
this
things like that. I
ward
sit in those.
committees,
Yeah.
no, what happens in ward committees also politically motivated people are again brought into the committees. Corporator wants his people, MLA wants his people, MP wants his people. We have to restrict there again. RWAs should come in. Resident Welfare Association should come in. So when they come in, there could be a kind of a dialogue and there could be discussion happening, and something which is not needed will be stopped. Otherwise, what is happening is everyone is self-centered, whether it's me or you. What happens? Okay, we think a little above politics, so we talk like this and we act like that. But there are a lot of people, they only think politics and they want to do only politics. So what they do, they bring their own henchmen and make them sit on the ward committees and other committees. Then what is the result? Nothing, because that fellow won't tell anything against the MLA or corporator. So I think this, some certain conditions to be put in. So many of the RWAs with this strength can be member, 4 or 5 people. Some NGOs can be member in that ward committees. So if this could be done, I think then it will give a better result, because they know locally what is needed. Sometimes just for the sake of doing something, anyone, see, maybe me today, tomorrow somebody else, but end of the day, it is the state and the country which needs development. So I think we need to look at that that kind of members in the ward committee. I think we can find it far better result coming. Ajiv, you are
So I
there?
have one last question before opening it up. Yeah, I'm very much
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
So I'm going to ask one last question from my side before opening it
Nice.
up to the audience's question and answers. See, one of the things that this COVID lockdown and the crisis has done, it's made working from home, something, the new normal, right? Do you think this is something that will dramatically change the way Bangalore operates? A lot of people in Bangalore are capable of doing this. And what are your views on, on the future?
Rajiv, actually, COVID has brought in a blank in front of us, actually speaking, to be very honest with you, because we really don't know what the Creator has kept for us in the future life. Because the way things are going, deaths, I'm being very honest with you. I'm in a situation where I'm not able to give a bed in hospital for a patient who needs it. I'm not able to fix up for an oxygen when a patient needs oxygen. We are not able to give ventilators. Infrastructure for health is not there for the kind of population we have in Bangalore city. So that is why we are affected so badly. And I think we'll be the highest number in the country by another few weeks. That is what it looks like. We will overtake even Maharashtra. So what is
My
about,
God.
as far as coming out of COVID is, we have to seriously look at home, working from distance, all these things, online education. All this is going to be the next generation facilities, which has to be considered very seriously. And with COVID now, with the situation what we are facing now, I'm sure we need to bring in a lot of change in our day-to-day life, which I think, because as of day today, we don't know what is tomorrow for us. That's the situation, Rajiv. So how do we fix it is a big question
Absolutely.
on us. So health infrastructure has to increase in Bangalore city. Only then I think we can really plan how to face it, because we have to prepare to face COVID. We have no other scope. We can't run away from COVID at all. We have to face it. How do we face it is the question in front of us. So I'm sure, I think infrastructure for health has to, and educate on health again. See, immunity is the biggest solution to corona. So how do you increase your immunity and stay fit is the big question. See, today we have a so laid back attitude of everybody. We have a remote in your hand. Even that remote, somebody has to pick up and give you. You don't want to get up and pick it up from there. That is the attitude we have. So how will you be healthy then? Please, I think the generation coming, if we don't do something, they will be very. We are what we are is at least okay. What they will be very sad.
No, no, we owe it to them to help them be fit and help to make our world very sustainable and work with preventive healthcare strategies. There's so much that can be done. Anyway, let me now move over and open it up to the audience question and answers. We have audience questions from this Zoom call and from your Facebook page as well. Shonali, would you like to come in with some questions, please?
Sure. Thank you to everyone who sent in your questions. Our first question from the audience this evening is from Sandeep Nair. He asks, what is the possibility of providing multi-level parking at major junctions, such as Silk Board or Marathahalli, and linking these with smaller feeder services to popular destinations and even IT parks?
Am I supposed to answer that, Rajiv?
Yeah, these are all to you now.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, 100%. See,
I will jump in too. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. That's a very, the issue-based question, because parking is multi-level parkings were tried in Bangalore city, and that is how even Garuda Mall came, because it was proposed 100% for parking. Later they converted into half commercial and half parking. I think those kind of new projects, even it could be a public participation also, PPP also could be done. So that is where the whole idea of this planners for the city has to come in. Only then, see, they can plan where we need a multi-level parking and how that multi-level parking will be connected with the facilities around. So this basic planning, which I had asked for, a 50 years or 100-year planning for Bangalore city, if it is done, I think many more questions to come will be answered through that. So we can take it up. This should be done, according to me. Sonali.
Thank you so much, sir.
Next.
Our next question is from Shri Mathur, and they ask, does the BMTC have a performance management system as an organization, similar to the city of Johannesburg, where it sets targets and then evaluates reasons for any variance from these targets?
That's not there anywhere in our country, you know. We have to go to Johannesburg only for that, I think. Basically, there is no accountability fixed for anybody. That's the sad part of the whole story. Rajiv, I think you should answer this.
I'm not accountable at this point. No. These are all systems that we've been trying to bring into play. That's why I talked about citizen participation and even ward committees and things like that. We need creative ways in which government is open and accountable. And even we used to see this problem with roads, right? I mean, the condition of roads, because the contractor would do something and walk away. Nobody would ever say maintain it. And one of the when I cycle around, I find that half the time we are just avoiding potholes. And so where is the question of you're going to suddenly move into traffic to avoid a pothole and some other vehicle will hit you. So it's so much that we need to bring in terms of systems that will ensure that the outcome will be better. I think in Bangalore with Tender Shore and Church Street and things like that, we've shown that it's possible. And I think one of the things that I want to say here is that we often have a finger pointing attitude. I think if we start sort of celebrating those who solve problems, the officers and the engineers who ensure that the area under them is pothole free, so that they have maintained things in a manner that that there are no problems, then those people should be recognized and rewarded. Normally, only time we think about government is when we are taught how things function smoothly, and and commending those who are doing a good job. There's a lot to be done in this dimension, but it's beyond the scope of discussion on buses. Yeah.
No, this
Yeah,
accountability
go ahead,
has to be
Sunil.
fixed through the administrative reforms, Rajiv, which has to come. As you rightly said,
Mm.
TenderSure, there was
Mhm.
a PMC company for TenderSure, there was a quality control for TenderSure, there was a designing team. All these were outsourced. And not that BBMP doesn't have good engineers, they have good quality engineers, they have good people, their knowledge is very good. But there is no accountability fixed on them. A road is done, within 6 months
Mm.
you find a pothole, then that engineer has to be questioned. He comes out with lame excuses and gets away with it. So the quality control for each road, they have to fix a time for the contractor and the engineer. Minimum 3 years, if a road is done, that road has to be maintained by that person. So something like this, a reform has to be brought in. Then we will get quality work happening there. They will not just come and do something and get away. Where the engineer also is responsible and the contractor also has to be made accountable and responsible for it. I think some administrative reforms has to be brought in, and hopefully, when we get opportunities, we should try to do this, Rajiv. That's all what I can say. Or
Absolutely.
the government sitting should also can initiate and do all these things. We can support them. See, we are not working only when my party wins, I will work. We have no that attitude, you or me. We can support the government. We can give whatever from our side so that they can implement them and make it better for everybody.
Correct.
Yes, Rajiv, I hope you agree with me.
Go ahead, Shonali. Next.
Thank you. So our next
I
question
fully
is
agree,
actually,
and we've been
yeah.
demonstrating that through our actions.
Yeah.
Go
Yes,
ahead.
Sonal.
Sure. So our next question is actually from one of our Facebook viewers, Avinash Reddy, who raised a comment on wider footpaths and wider roads as an imperative need for the city. So if you could please share your thoughts on how we can identify and ensure that there is equity in different modes of transportation. So wider footpaths, wider roads, how do we assign that equity?
See, now with TenderSure, we have made things very clear. Wider road or wider footpaths. Two things also possible only when we have connectivity also to a wider road. See, if you have a two-track road and it joins to a two-track road or a three-track road, it is okay. If you make a three-track road and it goes and joins to a two-track road, then that wider road, the concept doesn't work. Footpaths wider where people can use them is anytime a good thought. There is no doubt about that because that helps. Only thing is we have to avoid these footpath hawkers coming and sitting there or illegal shops coming up. Those things should not be permitted. Otherwise, big footpath is the thing to be done because as you have heard myself and Rajiv discussing about how footpath can be used and by walking how you can be more healthier and things like that. And this is exactly what is happening in any other country. Wherever you go outside our country, you find beautiful, nice, big footpaths where people feel like walking. There's no rush on the footpaths, there's no big crowd. So then you enjoy your walk and you walk, and also you burn your calories and you keep yourself more fit and healthy. So I think this can be done. It is nothing wrong because
Mhm.
wider roads, but connectivity, not wider road at one place and then it becomes smaller at other place, then it is of no use. With TenderSure, I think we have proved that because our Swati and our team did that planning. I had a lot of discussion with them regarding this, so made a real study, and I have understood that a road connectivity, that wider road has to go on, then it is useful. Yes, Sonali.
Thank you, sir.
Next, Shonali.
So right, we have a lot of comments coming in from a number of different viewers, Mr. Rahul Manoj Kumar, Mr. Vinod, and a lot of them have pointed out that there's a scope for IT enabled services in mobility. So smart cards, common mobility card, IT for tracking bus routes, tracking frequency, tracking deployments, occupancy, something that will be important in a post-COVID world. So if we could just get your thoughts on how these could be integrated into the existing BMTC infrastructure.
I think whatever they are suggesting should have already happened 5 years back. We are already late. It should have happened 5 years or 10 years back because with being in Bangalore city, it should have already happened. And the whole sad part is whoever I told why I couldn't do it was Parliament election came. And immediately after parliament election, 15 days, our government was toppled and another government came. And then I had no opportunity to do anything there. So this is all the democracy should give bigger mandate to people and who can do. We have to look at the vision of each political party and then work. If we are not doing that, then what happens? This is what will be the net result. Even BMTC, okay, they will tell Congress ruled for so many years, why you didn't do? Of course, maybe Congress ruled or BJP ruled or JDS ruled. That is not the issue. People sitting there has to think on these lines and do it. We have not got people who are really can think, visionaries who can look, identify these things could have been done. See, I have given a bigger scheme for BMTC, an app on your mobile phone, which can give all these informations and also can create revenue by advertisement and other things. All the BMTC buses could carry television where it could bring out advertisements, can generate revenue. Again, see, when you generate other digital revenues, you don't have to raise your price for diesel race. So you will make the bus still cheaper for the public to travel. So we have given the concept. Now the whole issue is just a politician. As a chairman alone, I cannot take decision there. There's a bigger body there. They all have to be involved in it. The system is what has to be. I think Rajiv would understand what I'm trying to tell. The administrative system, which needs a little bit of changes, and I'm sure, and fix accountability for everybody, then all these things will happen. We are selling software to the world, and BMTC doesn't have a proper app. I think it's even if I've been an ex-chairman, what I'm telling is I'm not telling anything false. I'm talking the truth, and we don't have a good app there even today. Now my friend Nandish has taken over as the chairman. I would be happy if he wants any suggestion from my side to support him to make it better. Even if I'm not the chairman, I can give because it helps the citizen, it helps the public at large. So we can support them. Rajiv, myself, any one of us, we can give them a lot of inputs. And there are a lot of companies also in Bangalore city who would give them support free of cost also.
So these are some of the ideas that we will put together, and then we will share. Let's look at how we can actually share it with the existing current government. And
sure. We can work together, Rajiv, with this. Even Nandish is an young person who has been the chairman there. We can support and see, we should look at making life better for everybody. What a political party or not in power, those things doesn't matter to us. We have to make things better for the public and the coming generation. We can work on those lines. I am always available. And anytime you tell me, or even if Nandish calls, we can give support. And I have done a little bit of exercise sitting at BMTC, but I didn't get the time to put it into action because of the parliament elections, code of conduct and all those things. Let's see. Hopefully, we should be able to do something in the coming time.
Sure enough. Shonali?
So that brings us to the end of questions. I'm not
Shonali,
sure if we have
any more points and questions?
Right. So I think we've covered the most pressing questions and the ones that came up most often. There are a lot of comments that have come in from the public, and we've kept a track of them. So we can definitely keep those in mind and incorporate them moving forward. But in terms of the question answer session, I think we can wrap it up.
Okay. So basically, Harris, if you have any other points, anything that you want to get citizens to think about, your own priorities, your own vision, anything you want to share, we're very happy to, engage.
No,
and of course, if you can,
No, I'm really very happy. I think you gave me a good time, actually, sitting and talking and really going back on BMTC, sitting as the BMTC chairman. I put in a lot of efforts with all these bureaucrats and all these people. I don't understand sometimes why things doesn't happen the way it has to happen and when it is available. and we just talk about you did that, that as you rightly said, pointing the finger at the other man and talking is become the, like, that is the end of it. Like, you will tell, okay, you didn't do. So maybe after watching this, a lot of comments will come on me now. Why you didn't do? Why you didn't tell? Why what you did? All these things could come. No, I don't bother about this, because I'm talking everything from my heart, and I'm very clean and clear about what I'm trying to tell. See, what I'm trying is, now we can do a lot of things. This is a very good subject, and public transport is the priority of a society, actually, because if that is not there, then the whole life itself is miserable. Where we can bring in a change is also through this. So I think it's a good initiative. I can give more time. We can take up. We can also contact the present chairman, also Nandish Reddy. Maybe we can get in all of us into another webinar, and we can have a discussion. And maybe we can come out with some good suggestions, Rajiv, because we can suggest him at least what effort and time we have put in. We'll pass it on to him so that he saves so much time and he can do something. We'll support. We don't sit back telling that we are not going to support, or
Excellent.
we'll give all the ideas.
Excellent. We'll take it forward. Actually, even
Yeah.
in this whole series, maybe next month we are planning something called a bigger, sort of a climax for all. There are many
Okay.
groups working on these kinds of issues, and we may bring them all together in some mega seminar and summit. And
Sure.
maybe at that time we can have a session with him and past and present VMTC chairman, and exchange of ideas. Something like that could easily happen, and see what other ideas have come in from the public. So we look forward to taking these things forward. But I want to thank you for your time, and I want to say that one of the nice things about these kinds of interactions is that it showcases to the public that political representatives are really knowledgeable, futuristic, that they are caring, that they're effective, and that they are also, in many ways, hamstrung by all sorts of complicated, constraints that the government and timing and everything imposes. But I think everyone will be happy that we have representatives like you, and that you're taking things forward with a much broader than a partisan political viewpoint. And I look forward to working together with you, with civil society, with our citizens, with everyone, public, private, everything, and in a manner that will ensure that we make Bengaluru the city of our dreams, make it a reality.
Sure.
Thank you so much, Harrison.
Sure. Thank you. Let's thank everybody. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Karnataka.